It's San Diego Comic-Con 2024. We're here talking with Iwan, yes,
Yes.
and Sara, 10X, and Kayla. Uh, uh, those about to die, right? So my first question I want to know is, what would you say is the most challenging part about filming or recreating the Roman Empire?
I don't think it's on us. I mean, the job has been done by the set designer, costume designer, to and visual also effect with the big screen. They've made it so real and accurate. So we just have to dive in it, and that was easy for us.
Yeah. And try and understand a bit of the history, but yeah, I mean, and working with Roland, who's so invested and his vision is so big. So yeah, it's kind of easy for us, really.
Can you pick one scene that are going to lock fans in, the most exciting scene that you might coming up this season?
Oh well, I think the chariot racing is very compelling to watch, and just because it looks so incredible on screen. But I think for me is the relationship with Kala and how that, because Tenax is sort of, you meet him and he's quite a sort of hard person, doesn't show any emotion, and then how that sort of he changes and becomes a bit more vulnerable throughout the series because of it. And yeah, I think that was
No, Sam, I think our last scene is quite
yeah.
exciting because where these people, where they started, how they came across, and where they're gonna go. It's even I'm like, oh, where they up to now?
All right, let's keep an eye out for that arc then. Paramount Plus, Those About to Die 2024. We're here talking about Those About to Die. First, I'd like to ask you kids, what sort of journey or arc can we expect from your characters? Where is Scorpus going to begin, and where does he end up by the end of the season?
So when you first meet Scorpus, he is at his peak in terms of like fame and celebrity as a sort of superstar chariot racer. So if you think of like someone like Ronaldo or Messi, but with a sort of debaucherous, wild personal life. So yeah, on the outset of the series, he's at the sort of top of his game, top of his sort of celebrity, and yeah, I mean, I guess there's an element of like um, sort of humbling that's going to happen to him. He's going to learn a lot about where his loyalties have lied and maybe the mistakes he's made. I don't want to say too much.
I know
so
it's
I'm gonna
hard.
leave it. It's
Well,
hard, isn't
well
it?
said. Well, saying not too much.
Okay, well I'll stop there.
Yeah,
Then.
yeah. Oh, okay. How about Antonia?
No, Antonia, she's a woman who has a very clear goal. She wants her husband Marsus, who's a consul, to become emperor. That's what she's really aiming for. And throughout the whole series, she'll do things that I don't want to say too much,
It's
but
hard, isn't it?
yeah, it's
like,
very
hold on.
difficult. But she'll do like wild things and unexpected things and making really kind of dangerous choices. And there's a price she'll end up paying. So I think it's like tells you how when you're so completely power driven, the price you can pay is so high, and that's what's going to happen to her. So you're going to see a vulnerable side of her that you actually don't see in the beginning of the series, but towards the end, and how this will impact her and change her. We'll have to wait for the second season. Yeah.
Tease for me a little bit. Again, I know you can't say too much, but what was your absolute favorite scene to film?
There's a scene with you
Yeah,
and
yeah,
Marcus that
yeah.
was quite fun, where again I can't say too much for other reasons on that scene, but Gabriella and Rupert had sort of, I wouldn't improvised a little bit, just taken what was on the script a little further,
Yeah.
and didn't really tell me what they were going to do.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh God.
and it was just great. The two of them were superb. I wasn't expecting it, and I really got to see what her and Rupert had been doing as a couple. Like they'd really brought it off the page in a way that wasn't quite there. Like they read as a sort of couple that
Yeah.
hate each other, and then you guys played it as like you're an evil team.
Oh yeah.
And so there's a
totally.
scene where I got to really see it, and
And I
that
love to put that evil in his face. Like I'm actually not.
I think they
having-
used the take where I saw it for the first time.
Yeah, yeah.
We're being so vague, aren't
Yeah,
we? Is
yeah.
that annoying?
It's very hard.
I dig it.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Later on, when it comes out, we'll be like, yes,
You'll
that's
know.
what they were
You'll
doing.
know when you see
Exactly.
it. Exactly.
Absolute delight to
Thank
meet
you
you
so
kids.
much.
You
Have
too.
a great con. Enjoy the rest of your time.
Thank you.
San Diego Comic-Con 2024. Those about to die. We're talking to Jojo and Moe. First, I want to, hey, how you doing today? What a pleasure to meet you. I'm all on this side of the microphone. Let me ask you first, what sort of arc can we expect from your character? Where do we find
Yeah. So
Domitian at the beginning of the season, and where does he end up?
Yeah, I mean, he goes through a pretty serious one of them, to be honest with you. So,
The
are
old
we
one of
doing
them.
some sort of sorry, a big old arc.
Yeah.
um, Domitian starts this series. We find him; he's a very twisted, frustrated young man as a result of his childhood, and then obviously we immediately go into this succession story of who will take over the Curile throne. Um, and so then I guess Domitian then begins his struggle with his brother, his struggle for control in Rome, and his struggle for power, and that build up. And I guess it's his whole thing is basically a stacking tension. Things continue to get more and more intense to him until we get to the end, and no spoilers, but he explodes, spontaneously combusts.
Not literally, right. How about Kwame?
Kwame has, I mean, his life in this show is insane. He starts off as a just an animal tracker in North Africa who then in a crazy way becomes enslaved by the Romans and then gets enrolled into gladiatorial school. So he's like constantly just battling his life and trying to say, survive in this crazy world. So there's a lot going for him, and yeah, I would say too in episode 10 he explodes times two.
Even more. What would you say is, I know you can't tease too much, but what would you say was your favorite scene to film this season?
My favorite scene was probably most of the gladiatorial scenes where I was doing all the fighting scenes. I've got quite a few of them. And the best part is the type of men I take down. As you can tell, I'm not the biggest guy, but I fight one of the biggest guys I've ever seen in my life. So that was very
How
exciting.
much of that work is you, and how much compared to a stunt fella?
I did everything, so.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. I mean, we learned very early on that Roland didn't want to work with any stunt doubles just because what did he say? They're missing the spiritual emotionality of the character. So it was like, so I had to do it. Even the rehearsing, I had to do it all myself. Yeah, which was fun, and I wouldn't have done it any other way.
Right.
Yeah.
How about for you? Favorite scene?
I mean, all amazing, and working on some Roland sets, just like absurd, ridiculous, so amazing and immersive. But I mean, a big highlight is obviously working with Sir Anthony Hopkins, which is
Sure.
for me,
Yeah.
it's a bit more than a bucket list tick.
Right,
It's a mad sort of dream to work with one of the greatest actors of all time.
Kind of defines the bucket.
Defines the bucket. It's made a whole new bucket.
Next bucket.
Yeah.
All right, guys, that's probably my time right there. Thank you so
pleasure.
much.
Thank
Enjoy
you
the
so
rest of your
much.
Comic Con.
Thank you.
Comic Con 2024 here with Roland. If you're any kind of fan of cinema, this is a household name. We're talking about Those About to Die coming to Peacock. So I'd like to know what you've created a couple of TV universes. What are some of the challenges of shooting in the past or filming in the past, recreating the past as opposed to future sci-fi?
But we got like really lucky, there was like two events, which we found uh, Unreal Engine model, which was done for a museum, and we bought it. And there was like kind of something else, like it's called a volume stage.
Right.
So I shot 108 days on the volume stage, and then this was like of 230 days how long we shot. So that was nearly 40%, and it made everything so much easier because the background is there. This like kind of it's a really weird thing, but I from now on will use this all the time.
Yeah, control every aspect of the background. Yeah. One more before I let you go. When I was a young man, I used to have to get up really early on Saturday mornings to beat my parents into the kitchen so I could pour myself a big bowl of sugary goodness to get through the morning. So, Roland, I'd like to know, what was your favorite bowl of Saturday morning cereal and what cartoons did you watch?
I didn't eat any cereals in my youth, and I'm actually maybe that's why I'm like looking so good.
Well, yeah, it could be a secret. What about any cartoons?
I had like kind of we had like different cartoons, and I think Asterix and Obelix was my
Oh, yeah,
favorite.
Right on. All right, man. Enjoy the rest of your con. Thanks for